Hi everyone, in today's video I'll show you how I make my homemade eco-friendly moss killer. A quick and easy upcycling project that could save you hundreds. But first I need to pick up the apples and pears from the floor, sling them over the fence for the farmer to pick up with his machine, and then it's up on the roof for me. Oh, now that was interesting. Just had a chat with the farmer and I asked him if he wanted the pears from my trees this year. And he looked at me, he went, possibly, and I thought, okay. He said, we've had so many pear and apples this year, we have too many that he can actually process, so he doesn't need them, but he said I can chuck them over and he'll pick them up if I want them to. So that's interesting. He said last year hardly any pears and apples. It's mainly because of the springtime, when the fruit's setting with the flowers, that gets knocked off, then you don't get the fruit. He said this year really good spring and we've got an abundance of pear and apples, so I won't be going short of cider this year or next. It's a beautiful autumnal day today, a little windy, I can live with that. So if you've got a moss problem, this mixture could help. Vinegar, fresh water. I think you can add salt, but in my mixture I'm just going to use the liquid soap. Okay, so first we fill this up with half water. And then it's in with the vinegar. I'm using equal parts vinegar to water. It really will depend on the strength of the vinegar. Then I added a little bit of liquid soap, give it a good mix, and round to the roof. And of course all roof work should be carried out by competent professional people, so please folks, don't try this at home. The day before I do the mortar work on the ridge, I go up, give it a spray with the solution, clean down, and then the next day I'm ready to do the mortar. And yes, apologies, I forgot to put on my harness. That won't happen again. I'll let you know how effective this mixture was in an upcoming video. Although I have used it on weeds before with the addition of salt, so I don't see why this wouldn't work. Now there's divided opinion on whether or not moss damages roofs. Now I'm removing the moss from my roof because I need to work on it, do some mortar work as mentioned, so you know, it really does depend on a lot of factors whether or not it needs removing. Until I get the whole roof addressed, I shall just work away day by day, addressing all those areas that need work doing and just patching up. That's the best I can do. Another important factor to minimise moss on your roof is to make sure you haven't got any nearby trees putting it in the shade. This will make the area damp and make it easy for the moss to take hold. Well, unfortunately, it was just a little bit too windy. I managed to spray the ridge line where I'm going to be working next, so we let that soak in, we'll give it a rinse off, then when it comes to repointing that section, we'll just brush it all off and it'll be nice and clean. So let's move on to something else. It's a beautiful day after all. Ah, that's good. Looks like my parcel has been delivered. Now that is a recycling project there. We'll open it up later and I'll share with you what I'm going to do with them. I sure do miss that ride on, but this does the job. So whilst it's not raining, I figured it's best I do some grass cutting, make hay while the sun shines kind of thing. very satisfied about doing these sort of jobs. You know it's going to get used, you know, and within a matter of time I'll be sitting there with a bottle on the table drinking these very pears. How rewarding is that? All made locally. The farmer is just over the field there. He did say I can film the process one day, so maybe we'll do that. He does make vinegar and other products as well. But yeah, just nice to be part of it really. The old traditional ways. You know, he had a machine that picks up, kind of scarifies them off the ground, puts them in the back hopper, and he loads it into his trailer. But you still see today, when you drive around the fields, old couples like the farmer and his wife on their hands and knees in their 70s and 80s picking up those apples, filling up the sacks. You know, I think I'd struggle to do that, but testament to them, they get stuck right into it and they do preserve their history. Sorry if you can't hear me properly, I'm a little bit bunged up today, still recovering from the flu, and it's a bit windy. Like I mentioned before, when I was up on the roof, I managed to give the next section of ridge tiles some spray with that mixture. We'll let that set in, probably about, I don't know, half hour to an hour, and then give it a rinse off. If you're going to do that yourself, do a test spot, an inconspicuous area on your roof or wherever. Sort your mixture out to make sure it don't do any stains or damage, and then you know, if you're not competent about going on the roof, get someone else who is. Always carry out the necessary safety procedures when you're working on or around roofs. Very important. Now, I went up there without my harness on. That's a no-no. So next time I go up there, I will have my harness on. Yes, farmers and farm helpers, you know, fruit pickers, harvesters, I think they really are the unsung heroes in today's working environment. They're out there day and night, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, and they just get on with it, and it is really hard work. So hat off to you. We appreciate what you do, and it's all the more important to support them as well. Right, well, it's a little bit better on the ground here. Not ideal conditions to do the rest of the spraying, so let's move around the front and do something there. Always lots to do. There's a lot more fruit to come yet, but it's a start. I only popped indoors for a quick cup of tea, and look what I come out to. And as usual, out of nowhere comes heavy downpours, high winds. Right, let's get in that cottage. Right, let's open this up. Now, it doesn't matter if the contents gets wet, it will be. Yeah, a bit mushy. Okay, let's make some space. Not got around to have a proper tidy up. I literally, on the last video, down tools, I went straight to bed because I just felt so rough, but now looking at this I feel even worse. Right, let's make a bit of space. Two of these. Now initially it was going to be used on the roof. What they are, they're vents for a slate roof, circulate the air to the roof, very important. But then I'm thinking, well, I might not have a slate roof, so even if I do, I can still get some more. These were a good price, I got them online. First I'll give them a clean up, and then I'll show you exactly whereabouts I want to put them. It stopped raining now and the sun's out, so we can head back outside and clean these up. A bit tight in here at the minute. I'll give them a quick clean up. We've got to scrape some glue or something off of there. Might not be too much of an issue. Time for a chisel. Okay, but there's quite a lot of, you know, artistry in this really. It's all nicely jointed around there, like a little bonnet. So you're thinking to yourself, what's he going to do with them? Good point. So what would you do with these? No, not put them in the bin. Initially they would have been on the roof. They would have been in a slate tiled roof like that, and I've actually got some on the end barn on the back. So I thought, well, if I do decide to use them for the roof, I've not paid too much money for them. I've give €10 each for them, so I'm quids in there, because you're looking at probably close to 100 each for those. So that was the first tick in the box. Then I thought, okay, a nod to its history and past. I might upcycle those. First I wanted to see how they cleaned up, and they're not too bad actually. I don't think they've seen much use on a roof, although some enough to give it a bit of character. So as I was looking at them thinking, right, where could we use these inside the cottage? That'd be a nod to the history, a little bit quirky, and save me a few quid on some light fittings. Yep, I think these would make directional uplighters on the wall. A simple lead and bulb behind it, switched. You get the beautiful effect of that streaming across the wall. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. We're going to give them a polish up. Not quite sure whereabouts in the cottage I'm going to put them. I've got a few ideas. So whichever way I'll go with these, whether they go on the roof or on the wall, they're going to need a decent polish up. So looking at them, I think the best thing I can do is maybe some light wire wool. And then what I might do is pick up the detail around here with maybe some silver or gold gilding. If I had copper, I'd use copper. Just see how they come out. You know, with a feature like this, you could be hundreds and hundreds in pocket. If you used to buy these already wired up as fixtures, if you could find them, I think quite comfortably €150 each, for sure. And it's nice to upcycle something. Right, let's get the wire wool, get these polished, see how they come out. No, that's fine. So there's not too much dust here. Quite windy, but I would advise, if you're not speaking to the camera, to wear a mask with any sanding down. So, where are we going to put these? plan is, at this stage, is to have them as uplighters. So we'll put a fitting behind there. Now if I put it on a stone wall, they're going to be as seen with the frame. If I put them on a wall with cladding, what I'll probably do is cut around it so that you just see the bonnets sticking out. That's what I'm after. It's not bright, dazzle, in your eyes lighting. I want the ability to be able to see nice and clearly when we're cooking, with lots of underlighting. Don't want to always see the lighting or the source, the direction where it's coming from. Some nice fixtures and fittings dotted about, but also have the ability to be able to turn those off and change the mood of the room. Just have some soft lighting, some uplighters, so they won't just be on one switch, the whole lighting circuit. They'll be controllable so that I can change it up a little bit. This cottage, it's got its own charm with the way it's laid out. Different areas are darker than others. I'm really okay with that. I'm going to work with it. This side is going to be a lot more sort of richer in texture, colours and the lighting. So a softer lighting this side as opposed to what will be in the kitchen. Okay, so now we've got them all cleaned up, nearly figured out where they're going. Let's try turning the lights out and see if I can get some power with some lighting underneath to see how it uplights, because after all, if it doesn't work, they're not going in. Time that just right. So I've done a quick mock-up of how it could work. We've got quite a low powered bulb in there, but it's still giving off enough light for an uplighter, without a doubt. That may need a bit of tweaking, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? And don't forget to drop me a comment and let me know if you've done something like this or even thought about doing it. And as with all lighting, it must be carried out by a competent person or an electrician. This is already wired in. I'll put it behind just for illustration purposes. So yeah, I think it will work. I think I'm going to go with that idea. Might not even be downstairs, might be upstairs, don't know yet. But that's definitely an upcycling project that I think is well worth doing. Total cost probably €50 in the end and an hour or so's work for two rather special uplighters that not many people have got. Well, that is it for me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you all in the next one. Bye for now.